Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachaha Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another quick news series being brought to you by the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Does Iran know that so-called Israelis will get U.S. to intervene in their confrontation against them? You know, and I think it's safe to assume that these Iranians know that inevitably they will be attacked by the United States, namely the president of Iran. Okay, and they are well aware that the U.S. currently has 60,000 plus troops surrounded around the borders of Iran. And more than likely, at the command or the demand that the so-called Israelis, they're going to move in on that country. But of course, when that happens, this is what's going to happen next. Russia's going to step in. Okay? Russia's going to step in, and basically that's going to be the breaking point for Russia, because Russia, as we know, have interest invested into the land of Iran. So once that interest, once those resources, once those things are threatened, Russia is going to step up and be like, you know what? Enough is enough. We must attack and kill U.S. soldiers. And it's just, but we know before that can happen, the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which is the CHIP, must be made mandatory. So we're literally there, man. We're literally there. This thing can become mandatory at any given moment. But let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. Okay, so Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Now we know that Babylon, especially in the New Testament, is known as Babylon the Great. Now, when John the Revelator spoke about Babylon the Great, this was long after Babylon ancient Babylon was taken down. So when John the Revelator spoke of Babylon the Great, he was speaking of a new Babylon, which will be America. This is Babylon. America is a Babylon the Great. And what's the proof of that? Well, there was a statement that was once made when Mr. Trump was in office, okay? A statement where he said, one of his logos was what? Make America great again, right? So America was once known as America the Great. Well, when you go to the book of Revelation, right? The book of Revelation calls this place Babylon the Great. Okay? So the fact that, this is a great country proves that America is Babylon the Great. So it says that his purposes that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Okay, the modern day Chaldeans are the Illuminati. Now the ancient Chaldeans will perform sorcery, witchcraft. They will perform sorcery, witchcraft. They was into idol worship, the worship of the moon, the sun, you know, doing all kind of weird practices, human sacrifices, child sacrifices, human sacrifices by fire, by stabbings, demonic altars. The ancient Chaldeans were into that type of shit. Okay, so we can also say that the modern day Chaldeans are the Illuminati. And who predominantly are the heads of the Illuminati? The so-called elites, who call themselves Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Oppenheimers. Okay, these are your modern day Chaldeans. Okay, the leaders of the Chaldeans. Okay, so surely the least of the flock is talking about who? The so-called Israelis. Okay, the so-called Israelis are the least of the flock. They're the ones going around telling the world that they are the flock of the Lord by claiming to be Jewish and all this other shit. Okay, and they're mainly trying to convince the world that they're Jewish through what? Their image, which is what? The image of Cesare Borgia. Okay, they're claiming to be the children of God and all this other nonsense, right? So they will be the least of the flock, right? So-called Israelis, which shall what? Draw them out. Draw who out? Babylon out into the war against Iran, okay? Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Now, ancient Babylon was not destroyed, but this Babylon will be made desolate through destruction. But by what type of destruction? Nuclear destruction. Okay? So it says, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved. Okay? And I'll tell you what's going to move the earth, the explosion of nuclear warheads. Because the moment America, which is Babylon, goes into Iran, that's going to fully set off World War III. Now, we're already in the midst of World War III, but once this war fully sets off, okay, we know that the nukes are going to be shot off during World War III, which is what we're looking for. So it says that the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved and the cry is heard among the nations. Okay, so pretty much, we're there, man. And by the way, right, morass, right? It says Iran says Israel will drown U.S. in war morass of Middle East. Now, when you look up the word morass, which I've already looked up before, the word morass literally means a swamp or a marsh, as you see right here. Okay, morass definition, Merriam Dictionary. Morass is marsh or a swamp. Okay, which is, they were speaking metaphorically. Now, there could be a marsh or a swamp over there, but in other words, they're saying that Israel is going to lead the U.S. into their downfall. That's basically what the Iranians are saying. Okay, those so-called Israelis is going to lead the U.S. into their downfall. So, with that, I pray that you were edified and informed through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. With that, I'm going to say shalom. So on to the next one.